into this new school year where, again, with very minor blips on the COVID radar, we have been able to stay in school without any interruption since the first week of school. Again, it's a tribute to our faculty, our staff, the administrative team. It's also a tribute to the kids. I don't know about you, my heart goes out to the kids because they got, for lack of a better word, hoodwinked, as we all did, by the Department of Ed, who promised that we would have a full normal return to school in June, and then pulled the wool out, pulled the rug out from underneath us in late July, early August by doing an about face based on guidance at the same time. Personally, I think they would have been better served not saying anything until we had gotten nearer the beginning of the school year. But that created a lot of animosity in the kids, a lot of anxiety. But I have to say, in spite of their feelings, which I share to a certain greater extent, they have been excellent in terms of being faithful as much as possible to the COVID protocols. They've been remarkably on their game and sharp. The new freshman cohort has settled in very nicely, in spite of the fact that they had been without in-person instruction for the most significant amount of time that any group of freshmen had ever experienced in the history of this academy. So all things being equal, we're keeping it together, we're keeping it safe, and we're doing what we do best here. Of course, all of that is supported on a daily basis by our program advisory committees, by our chairs in particular, but by the members of the committees. So if there was ever a team effort at keeping this place moving the way it needs to move, I can't think of it. And I want you to know that I carry a deep feeling of gratitude to all of you for that. In addition, we had, as we do every 6 years, we had a tiered focus monitoring by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education near the end of last year. It used to be known as the CPR, the Coordinated Program Review. As a result of the CPR and as a result of some creative planning on the part of central administration and building administration, we were able to take care of a lot of projects that have needed taking care of for a long time. For example, the lifts in auto tech, which I have been struggling to get replaced since I arrived here in 2016. The dust collection system in construction, which was antiquated at best and non-functional and dangerous at worst, has been fully replaced by a very modern and a very quiet system. We've been able to do that in some other smaller capital projects around the campus. And again, all of these things are supported by the faculty, by the staff, by administration, by our PACs, by our PAC chairs. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for your ability to help us move those things along and to get them done. As you know, in the municipal world, municipal time isn't everybody else's time, and government units tend not to have the same sense of urgency that business units do. Nevertheless, again, with your support, we've been able to tick a few things off of our to-do list, and I'm especially grateful for that. So as we find ourselves here still again dealing with what's left of the COVID-19 pandemic for however long we're required to, or we need to deal with it, the academy is in very good shape. We're healthy, we're strong, our numbers are great. We admitted 150 freshmen again this year. We're pushing 600, we're bursting at the seams. We've got a healthy waiting list, and we're still the best kept secret in town, right? In terms of providing an atmosphere which is going to allow kids to be successful in a very competitive global marketplace. So without further ado, I'm going to ask our reigning General Advisory Chair, Jeff Amati, to call the meeting to order. And Jeff, all you need to do is ask someone for a motion to approve last year's minutes, which I sent out with the invitation for everybody's review. Take a second, and then we can take a voice vote on those.
Okay, thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. We'll try to keep it under, I believe we have 15 minutes to make it the shortest meeting in history to beat last year's meeting. So I officially want to call to order and convene the 2021 General Advisory Committee meeting. And I would like a motion to accept last year's minutes. I hope you all had a chance to review them.
I'll make that motion.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes. Aye.
Jeff,
Okay.
just ask for the record if there are any opposed.
Are there any opposed? No, okay, I believe those minutes are accepted.
All right, and then Jeff, you're gonna kick it back to me for a minute. So as of right now, your term of office is over. However, it's my duty as principal to ask if someone would nominate from the floor a successor as General Advisory Committee Chair.
I'd like to re-nominate Jeff Amani.
All right, thank you, Mike. We have a nomination to advance the candidacy of Jeff Amati for re-election. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Megan. Any discussion? Not that there needs to be, just that I'm required to ask if there's any discussion. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to ask for a vote. All in favor of the re-election of Jeff Amati to the position of General Advisory Chair of the Westfield Technical Academy, please indicate aye with your hand and say aye for the record. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Are there any opposed? Seeing none, congratulations, Jeff. You are our General Advisory Chair for the next 2 years.
All right, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it, I think.
All right, and the floor is yours, Mr. Chairman.
All right, I will try to keep this brief. Again, I think Joe hit on some of the things that I would like to cover, or I wanted to cover, but just to reiterate, it was a challenging year last year, and we all know that. And this year is going tremendously better. It does have its challenges, though. But the trades taught at this school were almost all dubbed essential by state and at the state and federal level. And that just shows how important, Westfield Technical Academy and these programs are to the community. And I just want to thank everyone, the administrators and faculty at Westfield Technical Academy, for adapting to the situations that they incurred, learning from home, and eventually getting people into the shops, into in-person live activities and full live activity at the school. So I just want to thank you for that. You guys did a wonderful job. We all appreciate that. Co-op placement was extremely strong during the pandemic. So I'd like to thank all the companies that took on a co-op student and provided a safe and productive work environment for the student. It was, if you were able to work during the pandemic, it was definitely an experience like no other. You'll never have that again in your life. So that was a valuable experience for the kids on so many levels. I also want to thank the administrators of the school for recognizing the value the co-op students have and add to the essential services. They actually serve a pretty valuable function in most areas, and allowing them to participate in these co-op programs during the pandemic was huge for us companies that needed employees and people to work during that scary situation. So just a couple of other things that to tag on to Joe. He hit on most of the big stuff. To keep up with industry, the school has been awarded numerous capital skills grants for industries identified by the state's executive office of labor and workforce development in the high industry clusters. So there's some big grants that the school was awarded. The school continues to line its career technical programming with current industry demands via federal Perkins funds for equipment and instructional purposes. And this is where the board really comes in, where we need your support and input for a lot of these grants and, money that the school goes after. A lot of letters are needed and show of support in the community that these grants do serve a purpose, and the school needs this equipment to serve the greater good of the community. So I want to thank everyone in the advisory boards for their support. Other than that, Joe really hit on everything else that I was going to go over. So I would just like to thank you all for joining us tonight. And we'll turn it back over to Joe if he has anything else.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And it dawned on me that you probably wanted to talk about some of the things that I did. So I left the capital skills grants out of my remarks, but significantly in the 6 years that I've been principal, we've been the recipient of 4 capital skills grants. One for aviation and manufacturing, another for allied health, and oh, Mr. Daly, help me out here. It's hard to remember them all. Most recently, again, manufacturing, that it was just awarded. Culinary arts.
Yeah, I think culinary was the one we missed. That was it.
We miselect. I don't know. We've had a lot. And that's pretty significant that one school has received that many grant awards from the same funding source. And that's not a matter of chance or coincidence. That's because of what we do with those funds. That's about how that money gets put to work on behalf of kids, and then how those kids benefit the economy of the Commonwealth by entering the workforce as highly skilled entry-level professionals. So just before we close, I want to make a couple of acknowledgements. First, I want to acknowledge Mayor Humison. I'm only sad that he wasn't here to hear it in person. In the 2 years that Don has been mayor, he has been a very vocal advocate and a good friend to the academy. Don is a lot of wonderful things. At the top of that list is that he's the consummate gentleman. And I've really appreciated his contributions and his input. I've enjoyed working with him, and I want Don to know, Don, if you're hearing this now or at some point in the future, I want you to know that the entire Westfield technical community is grateful for your work over the last 2 years. And we wish you well in whatever career pathway waits for you on the other side of being mayor of Westfield. I know you're going to be amazing in whatever you do. I also want to acknowledge and thank Cindy Sullivan, who's finishing her, I don't know how many terms it's been, but I believe it's 12 years as a member of the Westfield School Committee. Again, Cindy is a lot of wonderful things. At the top of that list is that she is a fierce advocate, and fierce is the operative word, a fierce advocate for the Westfield Technical Academy. Her son Riley, as you know, as you may know, graduated last year, but even prior to his entrance, all through her tenure since she became a member of the school committee, she has understood the value of career technical education. She's understood the fact that a facility like ours is what I always say it is in public commentary, namely that we're a public utility and that we're brought to the community by the community. And she has done everything in her power to ensure that this academy gets what it needs to be successful on behalf of kids, so that those kids again can be successful on behalf of the greater Westfield community. I am going to miss Cindy. I'm going to miss her contributions. And again, I wish her very well in whatever additional work waits for her on the other side of the school committee, because as you know, Cindy's full-time employment is with the Southwick Community on Aging. But I know that Cindy, being a community-minded person and being very active, is going to find something else to do with her time. once she's finished with her tenure on the school committee. So Cindy, again, if you're hearing this or you have opportunity to hear it later on, please know how grateful we are. And then just finally, I want to acknowledge our new mayor, Mike Mccabe. I want to say on behalf of the Westfield Technical Academy community, congratulations, Mike. We look forward to meeting you, to having you here in the academy sometime after your inauguration. We hope to get you in for lunch. We're looking forward to partnering with you and talking with you and helping you develop sort of a wider context for how important the academy is and how integral it is to the growth and development of the city of Westfield itself, but also the greater Westfield region. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that's it for me. So I'm going to turn things back to you, and this would be the opportunity to take a motion for adjournment, to ask for a second and take a vote.
All right, well, I just want to thank everyone again for me for another term. That was a extremely interesting time period, and you know, we didn't have a chance to do too much because there's what we attended initially because there was so much other stuff going on. But now, you know, hopefully we can get some work done in these next couple of years. We'll get back to normal. So with that being said, I would like a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
All right, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Well, thank you, everyone, and have
Just for
a.
the record, Jeff, just for the
Anyone?
record, if there's anybody opposed.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.